So, what is your case about?
Well, it's a very personal case. It's all about change. It's about changing the world. It's about my new passion and venture and baby about how to help others to change the world. But maybe I give
Awesome.
Amalia 2 more seconds before drilling down. But yeah, it comes from
Okay.
my own inner change and some or different steps in the change process for me, and then realizing that I could maybe also find a way to help others to change the world, have a bigger impact than just giving a fish here or there, and maybe even a bigger impact than just trying to teach fishing, but really to revolutionize the whole fishing industry, as our Bill Drayton from
Ah.
Ashoka was saying. He has this very famous sentence, which is very nice. He said, and a change maker, a social entrepreneur, is not giving fishes to people starving. He's not even trying to teach them how to fish. He is not stopping until the whole fishing industry is revolutionized. And I like this very much.
Love it.
That's a lot my positioning. I'm touched by some people, some cases, some programs, some things which are not okay or which could be improved, and I do some things like this tactical helping. But mostly I like the having a broader view and trying to have a bigger, wider impact somehow. And helping others to help others is one way. And that's my case. That's what is motivating me and where I put most of my energy.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So,
My case is actually about change. Uh, it's coming from a personal change, different levels of changes this last year is very profound, very significant, huge impact on my whole life, and really an awakening and an opening to a wider change in society and in environment and in the world as general. And then I started looking at the change in the world, how the world is changing currently, and there are lots of difficult, painful, unethical, unfair, dangerous things happening, both for the whole society or different groups, and of course on the environment with some emergencies and real critical situations. But the other side was to look at uh, that's the change happening, but there are lots of things which could be changed, or we are in the process to be fixed or improved or changed. And then I discovered a lot of great initiatives, of great people, of great program projects, networks, and support system, new visions, new innovations, tackling and really addressing many of the problems that I had identified or by browsing through and that I was touched with. So it started with the change. The world is changing. What is really happening when I'm looking properly? Realizing that there are people changing the world, many more than I thought. I was a bit like there was Jesus Christ and Gandhi and then a couple of Luther King and some others, but it's a bit like very rare, a bit like only the big ones and they make massive changes. And you have a lot of small ones making probably very low impact, very minor changes in local communities, in their neighborhood. And that's always very nice, but I'm not so much interested in this tactical things here or there. So I was a bit struggling in the middle. I'm not a Gandhi and I'm not wishing or I'm not fulfilled enough by just helping here or there. And I do that because we are called, we have empathy, that's quite natural, at least for me. But that's not fulfilling enough. There is more things which could be improved and get better. And the third level of change was or is about the individual change or changing ourselves, which is I think very linked to the course we are all in, that we realize it's not just outside, it's not just things to be changed, but it all comes from ourselves as member of society and from where we view the world and where we act. So this inner change in myself is what I observed, and then I thought I could maybe offer somehow some help for such kind of changes to happen to others. And to be a bit more precise, to Melody and well to both of you about my background, which led to this change and led to this project now about helping to change the world. I was I was a classical business manager in large multinational corporation for many years. I was a serial entrepreneur, creating always in parallel different startups and different companies, very innovative, working mostly in the field of how to manage virtual groups, collaboration among distant virtual groups, how to manage information, share, and how to capitalize and share knowledge. So I'm a knowledge management expert. But this was not enough, and somehow I got a great opportunity, a bit like maybe something happening now for Melody. I just lost my job, restructuration, and I was just out on the street with a big surprise that just happened suddenly to me. And I was in this comfortable position of earning a lot of money, having a position and everything very settled down. And that and I took this opportunity of big change, the big rupture, to just wipe out a lot of all that, saying that's all great and I loved it and that's very interesting, but that's not enough. That never has been. I was always on a deep spiritual path and feeling that's clearly not enough. And so I moved, and so I decided to retire totally, not to seek for another job. I really stepped back, and I took many years now, 6 years or 5 years, to really meditate and being really settling down in a very remote place in the mountain in Switzerland. And instead of working for others in corporations, I started to work for myself as an independent, doing here and there a couple of things, but mostly to work on myself, which is something I was doing my whole life. But this time I was doing it almost full time, saying, okay, now I sit down and I face. I face it, I face me, I face that. And that has been very profound, gave or led to many different retreats in India and long-term month retreats just in the mountain. And this opened my heart and my mind to a very different degree. So I dedicated time to different NGOs, giving back time this time, not only for myself, but for the others. And that was very new. Instead of taking care of me and my career or my projects or my ideas, then it was what they need and how can I fit in somehow or help. A much more humble, supporting approach. And then I discovered the social entrepreneurship. After searching, I discovered this mix of mind and heart, or this mix of being using the business skills for social good. And then I said, but this is it. Instead of dividing the two, I'm either a good businessman making money and blah blah, or I'm a good guy doing great things for the world, but I have to be poor in Birkenstock and somewhere in an ashram and whatever. I said, well, I can use both. I can link these two inside myself and connect to people who are more about this, about transforming the world in a more structured, more empowered way. And so that was the beginning of a huge change for me. Discover the term of ChangeMaker. I said, well, that resonates with me. That's something where I feel more comfortable. And I started diving down very deeply into millions, really, or tons of social problems and environmental problems. I wanted to know what's the situation today. Are we really going into the wall? Is this problem that TV, press, and whomever talk about it really as acute and dramatic? Or is it maybe 10 times worse than it's communicated? And so I've read a lot, I watched tons of documentaries, movies, and I really dive into everything and make maps of all set of problems where I was touched and wanted to be interested in. And on the same side, then I discovered a lot of people doing things about all these problems. And I've been very touched, saying, wow, there are many more people. There is not only Gandhi and Luther King, and some are small and full of great sense and talent and presence, and they make a limited impact, but beautiful. They can help maybe one person, but that's fantastic. So a much more humble and appreciating approach, and discover a whole range of people having different ways to help and be actors of change in the world. Some really fighting against the system, some just supporting, encouraging, being sharing something on internet, and it could be different levels. And that gives me a lot of terrain, a lot of space to express myself. I said, wow, this is interesting me. And I discovered many people helping others to change the world. And so instead of being a direct contributor for a specific or to a specific issue, for a specific problem, then I realized I could help others to change the world. And so the core challenge or the core topic which is motivating me now actually is, after looking at all this for many months, I realized that, and I think that I'm quite able to search and browse and connect and do mind maps, so I'm quite skilled at all this investigation things. I had a huge lack of information. It has been very difficult for me to find a who's who is doing what in the world, and to find a directory of NGOs that doesn't even exist, to find which programs are helping this cause in this country or worldwide, to find, are these programs and these people really having an impact or not? I have to browse millions of reports from millions of NGOs. They report in different ways and give a lot of numbers, but it's hard for me to get a real sense. Are we doing better with malaria in the world? Are we doing better with food problem? Or are we going to have more food problem? What about China? It was very difficult to figure out something. And I couldn't believe, I was sure someone would have built a kind of a dashboard. This is the state of the world. This is the direction we go currently. This is where we would like to go. And these are the initiatives and the energies and the programs and the ideas to change the course of where we go. Impossible to find anything that I could apprehend in a way which was making sense to me. I realized the market is extremely fragmented. You have millions of people and groups and NGOs and UN organizations left and right. Some are big, some are small. Total lack of synergy. This is just patent. A lot of redundancy. You have hundreds of NGOs doing the same kind of programs in the same kind of countries without even knowing each other. And the path, if you are someone who are interested in this, to discover what's happening, or to know who is doing what, and what can I do? How can I contribute? It's very difficult to find your way through this jungle. And I met also a lot of feedbacks. Maybe last week we talked about it also, about disillusion and disempowerment. What can I do? I'm lost in my corner of the world. I've no specific skills or time or energy or money. I'm not Bill and Melinda Gates. Can I do anything about all this? I don't know. I'm recycling in my little corner, but I mean, this doesn't change a lot the world. And so I was a bit surprised, very shocked that there was no federation of energy, federation of teaching programs, coaching, empowering tools, and networking solutions, and clarity about what's happening. And so that was, or that is, my big theme. That there is no common thread from getting aware of where we are and where we go, who is doing what and what can be done, then how to contribute, how can I play a role, even minor, maybe just a like on a Facebook, but at least being somehow part of and not beside, and then maybe even move towards a more active role and transform my own way, the world or my community or my little home or my little neighborhood, transform the world and be a change maker. What I realize also is that there are lots of great things like the ULab and many courses and crowdfunding and lots of networks for change and innovators and great innovation promising a different future for our energy, management of our cities, or etc. There are lots of promising things and local movements. Very encouraging. But again, I found them very disconnected. On one side, I have a website to help to give money to some causes, and another one I can vote to say, I want to do a petition about this. And then I have another one saying, I have a project, give me money, and I want crowdfunding. But they are all like not connected, so I cannot get a picture of what's the situation, and who's doing what, and what is the impact to decide where I want or where I could fit in and play a role, and which role could I play? Not so easy to figure out. And so the bottom line, I felt there is really a lack of an overview picture. There is a lack of coordination between all these participants, initiatives, and viewpoint. There is a lack of a path and a direction for me to find out my way. And there is definitely a lack of a single point of entry. Where do I start to go to find something? Is it the UN website, or is it cause.vox, or is it a petition website, or is it just Googling randomly, typing, I don't know, cause of women in Yemen, and I hope to find something, and you know how Google just scattered you in pieces. You don't really get the focus. And I couldn't believe it. For weeks and weeks and weeks, I was only searching, thinking, I probably didn't search properly. I'm searching changing the world, I'm searching being a change maker, having an impact, how to connect, to be part of a movement. And I found some movements, but again, disconnected. So I thought that's maybe what I could do as with this passion, is to federate and coordinate, put together all these great things and great people around, not replacing them, not making a new website to get money for causes or whatever, but just being more like a single point of entry, and linking a problematic with some solutions, with some people, with some things I could learn, get member of, and what I could do with that. Maybe I just pass a message, or maybe I can play a more active role, translate a video, or whatever. So that's the concern, that's the challenge, and that's why I created recently this WeChange.World, just embryonic website. But the idea is to federate all these good energies and find a way, in a collaborative way, a bit in a Wikipedia, in a wiki way. It's not Yannick saying this is a good NGO and this is a good website, and Amalia and Melody, they are great people. It's a co-creation from the system, but just more in a coordinated, federated way, networked way, which I think could be very nice. Not so hard to build, because it's not just one guy building a company or a vision of a website. It can be a co-creation, and not very expensive also. So I find it quite realistic, very motivating. And all the great things I found, and all the horrible things I've been touched by, from kids to women, through depression and dying from hunger and whatever, this could be put in perspective to awaken the heart and open the mind and give the will and the tools to all of us, not only to the Ashoka members or to the big change makers or the ones who are member of some kind of movement, but to anybody of us who just say, yeah, this I don't understand, or this I'm not interested in, but that's a real problem, and these people should know. So yeah, I'm going to put it on my Facebook. Even a very limited action like this, but to allow people to become actors instead of just being passively saying, it's not so nice, this world, and I don't know what we can do for it. That was a long sentence. And then stakeholders, how the others are viewing the situation. I think the stakeholders for me are really everybody. It's not just the big ones, the one who have the bright idea, or the rich one who can give money, or no, it's anybody who are sensitive to that. And if they are not, they may be becoming aware through such a platform, such a sharing, and some documentaries and information and fact, becoming a bit more aware of some problematics they could be touched by or with. And for the ones who are already aware, it's more about helping them to be not only disillusioned and despaired by the status of the world and their lack of power, what to do, I'm too small, I don't know what to do, but to give them models and stories and tools and education and links and ways where they can give time and money and their hands and their skills and their ideas and their encouragement. So this is the first audience. It's really the everybody, and giving them one place where they can meet, develop synergies, and having like a coaching path to move from, well, that's interesting, to, wow, I didn't realize we need to do something, to what can I do? Oh, that's easy. To maybe even further, oh, I could do more. I could raise funds to support that or this using crowdfunding, for example. Second audience is, of course, the change makers, the one who are like the professional of change, the one who said, that's my life or part of my life. I have an NGO or I have a program, I have a project, and I'm doing something that's important to me. So here, their view maybe that's a place where I can connect, where I'm not just alone with my project and my program, and I'm good, and I have my two friends, and we raise this $10,000 to do something, but now I can connect with others doing something similar. Or I can discover NGOs or other associations, other groups, and other funding possibilities, other programs already in the same field, share experience, or team together. So develop synergies, relate with others, and not being just a very nice change maker, but a bit isolated, as it happens often. And the last group would be probably the NGOs, the one who are not just a couple of people changing, but really a little organization already, or big NGOs, where they can be visible, communicate about what they do, and get a direct face-to-face audience with a lot of volunteers, potential volunteers and helpers and donors, people who like to participate somehow, but would never have found this specific NGO that nobody heard about. Like if I tell you Namaste Welfare, that's one NGO of my wife helping Nepal and India, you never heard about it. And except if you really search Nepal, India orphans, you will probably never even find it, which is a shame because it could touch you in a way or another. So my vision for the future, that what I would like to see, what I envision, would be a future where everybody, all of us, the normal street people would be informed about what it is, what's happening, the good and the bad side of it, and let go the prejudice. There are so many, I know, and which are very, very wrong in many cases. Then to raise awareness about the urgency, the emergency, the importance also of the social and environmental situation we are in. It's not so easy, and this course is highlighting the main divides, and I find them very relevant, how Otto is structuring the main divide. Many people don't really realize and go deep. They close up before. I think we ought to try to be aware of that. And there are many documentaries, many movies, many things helping in this direction. So then the vision would be to have a bit more people, or at least myself, a bit more open-hearted and motivated by empathy, by realizing that, well, my life is maybe not so easy, maybe, but for some others it's a bit worse, and maybe we can do something. And then I feel also better, and that's surely also a nice way to help people in depression, in anxiety, is to help others. That's a known way that my uncle, maybe Melody, you would be interested in knowing one day, my grand uncle, who was a saint and a big change maker in France and around the world. And that was his key, was to say, you are really bad, you are going for suicide today, please give me one night to help someone else. Then you can die if you like, but help me to help another one. And of course, this gave a whole new dynamic to the suicidal person, who then changed the way he sees the world and his own value. So I would see also a world where people would feel not so isolated, not just I'm in my corner recycling and doing my little organic garden and doing my best, but I feel more connected to a whole system, to somewhere, not only a community, not necessarily a group of people, but more movement, more. There is an awareness here, and I'm part of this. I'm not isolated. I can exchange, I can link one way or the other. And then the next step for this vision would be people being more responsible. Not just being sitting and saying, oh yeah, my God, I know, I've read on TV or looked on TV, it's a catastrophe. So yeah, then society and how we shape the society is a responsibility of each of us. It's not done by something outside. We are the society, so maybe we can learn to become better citizens and better humans on this planet, because at the end we all share the same planet. And so somehow to say, well, okay, let's be responsible, but then what can I do? So then I would see a future where people would be more empowered, being less unknowing or unaware of what is possible and unaware of what is happening. There are fantastic programs, fantastic future potentially coming, and inspiring people. You can see millions or hundreds of them on TED and wherever. It's so much transforming inside when you take the time then to say, okay, what can I do? What do they do? Maybe I can help them to do. I have a family, a business, a job. I have no time, but I can pass a message, support in a way or another others. And so the end view would be to have more active participants, co-creating our world together, really changing the world. I mean, environment, society, and of course self, moving from me to us as a group, then much more deeper, hopefully, to the self, to presence or to the source as a spiritual or sacred path. So really moving out of this ego concern through a more us concern, which surely help for a more spiritual path, even if we don't use words like spiritual or things like that for some audiences. The learning threshold, what do I need to let go, and what to let come. I think one of the biggest things I was thinking to let go is this feeling of me having to do everything, being in charge of this huge responsibility to do everything, and also the habit of doing everything. And to let come more this us, this they, this we, letting more the source and the energy, the movement expressing itself through us, including through me, but being more humble and letting it happen, giving the shape that it could emerge in a way, but not trying to be the actor with a lot of will. The second thing to let go is surely some impatience. I'm surprised always how long social changes take, even when they are so obvious. When you say why women are still in developed countries paid 20% less than men for the same job. We know that since 60 years, we never fixed it. I just don't get it. It seems to me that should be done in 6 months, saying no company can report a difference of salary for men and women for the same job. And it's done, it's a law or whatever. Well, so I'm a bit probably too impatient with these huge systems which take time. And I have to learn surely to let it come, let it emerge, not trying, to pull the grass out of the earth, just realizing that it's coming and putting the water and just giving time. The last thing to let go, surely big plans, having huge or too big or unapproachable anymore big plans, and to try to get a tight control on the plan, to really like make a march, that's the plan, and to let emerge something more organic, more natural emergence from the system or the new system, from the future, as Otto would say. I really resonate very much with this training and the way Otto put things. To my greatest surprise, and I did not know it would be so good. I'm very happy. And the help that I can need from everybody, but especially from you today, it's three things. One is a feedback. Does it make sense? This story, maybe a bit long story, I didn't look at the time, but does it make sense, or am I a bit off the spot somehow? Second point is, I need some help, and maybe you could help now or later in the future, to build up a story to inspire, to tell this story in a way which is really with storytelling talents, and which is really inspiring. Say, wow, that's something. Then motivating, getting people volunteering or being interested, and to ignite their passion to co-create this together. Because I'm not going to make the list of all the documentaries by myself. I've done already a lot, but it's not the point. This is just like a kickstart point to show something, not just a vision. I have a lot of material which is coming soon on the website, but then it has to be a collaborative, co-creating, permanently creating by all of us and not just by me. So how to inspire people to say, that's a nice project and I could have some 1 hour here or one way to help or be part of that. And the third thing where I think we need help is how to best present or how to communicate this. What are the key points to highlight, where to put emphasis on. That's the first time I'm sharing this whole story with you, and that was not so easy because it's a bit like a baby, you know. It was growing inside myself. It's touching my heart. I spend all my time only on this. I earn zero money. I have no income. I'm only with that. Very happy about it. But I'm like putting all my energy, or a lot of my energy, into that. And now to put it into the world, I'm taking the risk that you say, well, you know, changing the world, nice utopia, you're a good guy, but yeah, it was a good story. Okay, maybe next week is not necessary. You join the group, you know, fine, and have a good life. And so I'm taking the risk to open up with you both, and a very intimate group with great people. I love you both. And so let's see. So I think maybe I was much too long, I don't know. But I think I tried to cover the 5 points that we had to present my challenge, my case, which is touching me.